In recent history, that in the media, we fall for this. I'll just speak for myself. The glitzy offense, Gonzaga basketball. But when the glitzy offense, Gonzaga basketball, meets the great, tough defense, Baylor, look what happens. The glitzy offense, Kansas City, faces the in-your-face defense, Tampa. Ask Pat Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers how that went last year. 0 for 3. Power beats finesse. Because finesse doesn't make power uncomfortable physically or intimidated. It can often beat it. But tough and physical in the octagon, on a football field, or a basketball court can intimidate and take finesse out of their game. So the Lakers are a power team with a power coach, Frank Vogel. Frank Vogel's known as a guy that would slow it down, pound the ball, loves bigs. He loves Andre Drummond. He'll take another one. He's a great big man coach, and he likes to slow it down and pound. And that is LeBron as he's aged. That's AD, and that's Andre Drummond. Even Rondo can be physical. Dennis Schroeder can be physical. Brooklyn's a finesse team. Kyrie Irving is an awful defensive player. Harden's an awful defensive player. Durant's not an awful defensive player, but he's more of a finesse 7-footer who can shoot, and probably the greatest shooting big in the history of the game. But it's really interesting. So they played Saturday night. Now, the teams weren't healthy, but LeBron and AD were not there, and the Lakers pounded Brooklyn physically. Dennis Schroeder did whatever he wanted before he was ejected. Andre Drummond did whatever he wanted. And are we falling into a trap that I did last year? I loved the Clippers last year, but they never played together. Remember the Clippers last year? They're 12-1 when healthy. Yeah, the problem is they were never healthy. And then they got to the playoffs, and Doc Rivers told me a month ago on my podcast, he said, we just never played together. You cannot find your chemistry in the playoffs. The playoffs, it's like a magnifying glass to bad skin. The playoffs, they take your little flaws and expose all of them. So the big three in Brooklyn have played together 7 games. That's it. So we know this Brooklyn team is awful defensively. They just got Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge. Those guys don't play defense either. Kyrie doesn't. Harden doesn't. KD can, but you don't want KD grinding it on the defensive end. He's a great closer in the game. So it's a bad defensive team with a coaching staff and Mike D'Antoni and Steve Nash who were allergic to defense. Remember when they were together in Phoenix, Nash the player, D'Antoni the coach? No defense. It is a finesse basketball team that doesn't like defense and doesn't have chemistry yet. What are the Lakers? A power team that has unbelievable chemistry. They've had great chemistry. And so it's just very interesting when we see power and defense and chemistry play these finesse offenses. And by the way, we know Brooklyn's talented. And in the East, just nobody matches up with them. But let's worry about the West, because if you look at their 3 best players, KD gets hurt a lot. Kyrie is undependable emotionally. And Harden needs the whistle in the playoffs. None of those have changed. And I just think it's very interesting is Brooklyn is good enough to literally rest 2 of their stars and win. And they are. But boy, when you watch them Saturday, you can see a little Baylor Gonzaga. You can see a little Buccaneers Chiefs in that, where the we're all caught up in, who will be able to guard these guys? Who will Kyrie, Harden, and KD be able to guard? Vogel has a history. I remember when Vogel had Roy Hibbert, an undependable Paul George, and gave Miami, Wade, Bosh, and LeBron fits. Slowed it down, pound the ball, stick somebody around the rim. Don't let Kyrie and Harden score at the rim. It's just interesting is that we got a finesse team with no chemistry developed. Good luck finding that in the playoffs. That is just a bad place to try to magically create chaos. Clippers had the best roster in the league last year. They looked awful all postseason. So, Kevin Durant. I am a big believer. I watch your actions. I don't really care about your words. I mean, I'll listen to your words, but your actions tell me what matters to you. Okay? That's why when Drew Brees said something that ticked his teammates off, my takeaway is, well, his actions over the last 15 years have been great for the state of Louisiana, great for New Orleans, great for teammates, black teammates, white teammates. I'm not going to kill a guy because he has a bad comment. His actions told me he was a good teammate. He was a good person. He's given to a lot of charity. Kevin Durant's funny. He has this quote this week. It's not the end-all, be-all why I play the game to win championships. Well, that's funny because your actions are kind of different. Didn't you leave Oklahoma City? I mean, you were having fun there because you weren't winning championships. I mean, why would you leave there? You had a Hall of Fame teammate. The coach was great. The city loved you. It sold out every game. You couldn't beat LeBron. You couldn't get to the championship. Why are you keep joining forces with Steph Curry? Because it wasn't because you'd been to San Francisco and loved it. It wasn't because you had a relationship with Steph Curry or Draymond Green. You and Steve Kerr never really got along. You went there to win championships. That was your actions. And by the way, then you go to Brooklyn and you recruit Kyrie Irving and to some degree James Harden. Well, James Harden has never been the easiest guy to play with, and Kyrie can go missing in action at any point. So you didn't join him for chemistry. You joined him for championships. So your actions are you keep moving around because you want to be the man and win championships, which I don't have a problem with. Aaron Rodgers does this a little too. It's a little convenient. Aaron will say this. Well, there's more than just winning championships. Well, then why does Aaron get upset with Packer management when they don't sign really good players so he can beat Tom Brady? Like Brady and LeBron, so much of being great is mentality. Like Russell Wilson's obsessed. Kobe was obsessed. LeBron's obsessed. Brady's obsessed. Breeze was obsessed. And listen, if KD and Aaron Rodgers aren't obsessed, I'm good. But both of your actions, both of you, by the way, can be passive-aggressive, disappointed often, don't take well to criticism. Well, why? If it didn't matter, if ratings and revenue didn't matter to me in radio, and that's mostly what it's about. My industry, radio is not about the critics liking you. How are my ratings? How's my revenue? Check, check. If they're good, Joy and I are happy. But if I didn't care about that, then I would never care about any criticism. But I listen to criticism because I want the show to be good. I want my advertisers to be happy. I want to get a rating. Just acknowledge it. Don't be like finish second place in life and conveniently, it doesn't mean that much. I mean, I asked her out on a date. She said no, but I didn't really like her anyway. You asked her for a reason. You were attracted. You thought you could get an opportunity to, whatevs, and it didn't happen. Just own it. But when Kevin says, winning championships is not the be-all, end-all, that is not your career. You keep bouncing around to places to win championships. He talks about us, personal growth. Personal growth's a lot more funny with a trophy. It's a lot. Personal growth is fine for Aaron and KD. It's way better. Tom Brady's got personal growth and trophies. LeBron's got personal growth and trophies. So, give me a break. You went to Brooklyn. Why didn't you go to Brooklyn by yourself if it was all about personal growth? Just go by yourself. Oh, you got Kyrie, who, by the way, is a hard guy to play with. Hard in Boston, hard on LeBron. You went there for one reason. Kyrie is super talented. One of the great finishers in the history of the NBA under 6'3". He may be the best ever. And you know that. You know the playoffs are about finishing. So I'm not into, conveniently, I don't care as much as you think. Just come out and say it. It sucks losing to LeBron. It's no fun not winning. I mean, did you see Aaron Rodgers' face when he walked up to Tom, when Tom beat him in Lambeau? Did Aaron look happy? Did it look like, winning is, it's like number 4? It seemed to me Aaron hated it. Their mentality means a lot. Just come clean on it. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.